Hey guys, 10-cent beer night, March 24th, 2021, live from PalmerCityRecords.com from Akron, Ohio. Seth here and filling in for Baseball Bob is Chris Football. There you go. So
I got a little bit of basketball, Cavs on Indians though, but
there you go. There we go. We're going to do I mentioned last week about fantasy baseball. We're moving that and opening day stuff till next week when we have Bob back. He had a sudden meeting to attend. And but we have Chris here, and we do have a lot of football and basketball to talk about, and we are going to start. I got to reload this because, last year, Chris, due to COVID-19, we did not have our March Madness like we normally do. This year's definitely making it up for it. There is so much madness. I don't even know where to start.
Right.
Well, we'll start with the Ohio teams and the outcome there. Cleveland State, unfortunately, did not pull up an upset. We thought maybe they would. Ohio State got upsetted. Yeah. Like, what the hell was that about?
That was called playing bad basketball when you really don't want to play bad basketball. Late turnovers, missing foul shots. With Young being out hurt, that hurt them because they're having trouble spreading the floor with him in. But Oral Roberts is a heck of a team. I tell you what, these small schools, you cannot look past these small schools.
No.
They will come and play, and of course, Oral Roberts won again.
They won again.
Won the Sweet 16. Yep. So it's fun to see these small schools compete with these bigger schools and beat them. It's fun, but fortunately, it happened to Ohio State. But Ohio State played some bad basketball at the wrong time and cost them.
There you go. Yeah, it was very unfortunate there.
Yeah.
Fortunately for Ohio State, they're really just starting to go upwards in the program under the new coach here. I can't think of his name on the top of my head, so I apologize. But he has slowly gotten this team better and better, and he's taken the jump to next year. He's got at least one good recruit, the kid from St. Vincent St. Mary's.
Head 37 in Sunday night's championship game.
Yep.
37
and they won.
And they won.
Right?
Yep.
And they won. St. Vincent St. Mary's is now the Ohio high school champions once again. And we used to see that all the time for a while there, especially the LeBron James days. And now it kind of slowed down. It kind of got mixed up. And now St. V's back on it. But their guys headed down to Ohio State there for next year. So we'll see. Now, however, there was an Ohio team that made some noise where Ohio U upsetted the defending champs because we didn't have a championship last year. So Virginia was defending champs for 2 years in a row because of COVID.
Right.
And Ohio U took them out. Unfortunately, Ohio U lost to Creighton in the next round, but it's always a big deal when a MAC team wins in the first round there. So going forward, going into Saturday, we're at the Sweet 16, okay? So here are your matchups going forward. 12-seed Oregon State, and man, have they played well too. Takes on number 8 Loyola, Illinois. And I really like how Loyola, I hope I'm saying that right, Loyola is playing right now. That's another team, 8th seed, that's been playing very, very well.
They were Cinderella, 3 years ago?
Something like
team?
that, yeah.
Yeah, they went to Elite 8 or something like that.
Yeah. And they fell just short there. They'll go up against Oregon State. I think if I actually did not do a bracket this year, just didn't get around to it, did some other stuff. I think I got them as winning this game against Oregon State. I really like the way they're playing. But again, Oregon State has not been playing bad either.
Oregon State has that point guard. Can't think of his name, but he's a rookie or not rookie? Freshman. He pretty much carries the team.
Right. Well, they took out Cade Cunningham.
Yeah.
Going by they took him out last round. He's supposed to be potentially the first overall pick in the next. 6'7" point guard. He's a very, very good ball player, and they took him out. So that was a big deal there. You're seeing, unfortunately, a lot of these higher prospects are not showing up to this tournament. Gonzaga. We'll get to them in a sec, but their point guard's been compared to Jason Kidd. And just not playing up to par. His other teammates have done well, but we'll see if this guy shows up late this tournament. Moving on, number 5 Villanova taking on number 1 Baylor, and I could see another upset there. Villanova is not the team they were a couple years ago, but still a great program. Mm-hmm. Baylor is actually, though, they're still a very good school. That's going to be a good game. Now, if I were to circle a potential game of the weekend, it would be probably this one. I think that it's like potential of overtime, maybe once, twice, 3 times before you find a winner there. It's going to be a tough game.
Baylor's starting to play better now. Baylor had a little bit of they lost a little couple close games there. They're late in the season, but they're starting to play better now. They're starting to find their groove back again. Villanova had some COVID issues, which put a damper to their team, and they were unable to practice at certain times, so that kind of hurt. But now they're starting to come around again. They're starting to find that groove. A lot of these extra games, especially late in the season, and you get in the tournament, start to play more. You start to come around a little bit. So that should be a good game. I got Baylor winning that game. I'll see Baylor winning that game. Villanova is good, but I think Baylor is just a little better. A little better.
Pretty much. I would agree with that. I just say if there's one upset.
Good upset. That could be an upset game.
Right.
Yeah.
I could see that. Number 15, Oral Roberts take on number 3, Arkansas. I will not rule out Oral Roberts in this game.
No.
The way that they've been playing and everything, they're really catching the tournament by storm, the whole league, I should say. And they took out Ohio State. Who was it they took out last time? I'm trying to look. Let me look at that. So many teams you can't read. Florida. So if they've taken out an SEC school before, why not do it again? I can see them winning this game here.
See what Oral Roberts is. They played Arkansas during the regular season. Mm-hmm. Arkansas had to come back to beat them.
Okay, so these guys have been playing all year.
You might want to look into that game for sure this coming weekend. But Oral Roberts play fundamental team basketball.
Right.
And if they're on sync and if you're playing off, a team like that will beat you. Can beat you easily. They just played a smart, coaching type basketball, and a point guard is unbelievable.
There you go. So you makes you wonder if somebody's going to be up for a promotion to another bigger team.
He's averaging 20-some in his own little league. They have 20-some or more.
Right.
And he's starting to do that now in March Madness. So
getting his name out there for the NBA there.
Yeah.
All right. And then wrapping up Saturday's matchups on Saturday, like 9:55 p.m., number 11 Syracuse at number 2 Houston. This will be another good one. Syracuse has had a good program for several years. They've been playing well. They've already had a couple upsets here. I could see another one against with Houston. I think that's very possible. I mean, any of these games are possible, but I meant just I'm looking. This Saturday is going to be filled of 4 very, very good games. I can see. Going on to Sunday, March 28th. It's hard to believe we're at the end of March already. Number 5 Creighton will take on number 1 Gonzaga. I like the way Gonzaga's playing. I think they're going to roll. Creighton's had a good program there. They're the ones that just beat Ohio U. I can see Gonzaga headed to the Elite Eight as expected by a lot of people in that one. This one's going to be interesting. Number 4 Florida State versus number 1 Michigan. Okay. Michigan, of course, has been playing very good basketball all year round. Florida State's got some weapons, though, including Scotty Barnes. That could make a difference in that game.
2 years ago, Florida State made a run in the tournament 2 years ago.
Right.
They made a deep run. So they're well coached. It's going to be exciting to see that game, see what happens there.
Right, that's going to be a good one. I could see Michigan winning on that one.
Michigan's good. They're a good team. They got good point guard play. They got a big guy. He's young too. They got size. So I got Michigan in my Final Four. So don't have them winning it all, but I got them in my Final Four. But I think they're good enough to win that game.
Juwan Howard's done a good job with that program there.
Mm-hmm.
I also want to mention while we're at it, Oral Roberts has more wins against Ohio State than John Harbaugh does.
Yeah.
So I just want to throw that out there. Different sports, but we'll mess with John there. Hey, I'll admit, I don't like Michigan, but they have a great basketball program.
Right.
They really do. I think they got it. They made it better since Beeline left, and now supposedly, I don't know if you read this, he's back at the university as a teacher. future.
Oh.
I guess he's got a side front office job with the Cavs. Obviously, they got to pay him. We'll talk about the Cavs here in a sec.
Right.
But that's what happened with John Beeline, and he's getting up there in age. Might have been time in a way if he wants to coach again, and maybe not Michigan, but somewhere else. I mean, again, Howard's done a very good job out there. Moving forward, number 11 UCLA against number 2 Alabama. Alabama's played some very good ball all year round. I can see them pulling out that one too. UCLA has actually done exceptionally well as well.
With UCLA, they had play the play-in game.
Right.
They beat Michigan State to play the first round.
Right.
They won the first round. Alabama's good. Alabama's good. They're athletic. They're fast. I was debating if I should have them in my Final Four or not, and I didn't. But I think they could be in the Final Four.
Right.
They're pretty good.
Their basketball program is obviously people know their football programs. Always them, Ohio State and Georgia and Clemson are always grabbing the big names.
Yeah.
Now I've noticed looking at the past couple years and going into the next couple years, this recruiting spread out. Not everybody's going to Duke or North Carolina or Kentucky. It is now all the way spread. And Alabama's starting to grab some of those key players, So their program's gotten better. And they've just, you're right, they're fat. They like those players, kind of like Cavs, Colin Sexton that went there. They like those headstrong, fast, aggressive players and bring them in to fill the program in with that. So I got Alabama winning that game there. And then number 7, Oregon versus number 6, USC. Oregon was by default because of COVID reasons. They won. They advanced their first game. They won in the second round. So now here they are. Not saying they're not deserving, but that's how it happened. And then USC, though, has some of the top prospects, including Evan Mobley there for the NBA draft. I could see USC coming out with this one. They got a good group this year, a good team, I should say. Where Oregon, they also have a good team, but they just don't have some of those
ex-players.
Yeah, those
guys,
X-factors, those star players,
and
whatnot. And that's, I think, going to make the difference there. Well, you would hope. We've seen in other ways in March Madness where...
Oh, you just don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I did a bracket this year, and it's like, okay, this team's higher than the other, okay, and I'm like, you stop. Okay. Doesn't really matter how high or seed what. Upset's crazy. Like, I picked 3 or 4 upsets on my bracket in the first round. And anymore with doing a bracket, you got to pick them upsets because it's going to happen.
Right.
It's going to happen.
You look at 2 of my favorite seasons watching were not just because of Akron or Ohio State, but it was when Brad Stevens was at Butler. Those 2 teams, they went to back-to-back championships. They lost both, but they made great championship games too. I mean, Gordon Hayward almost hit a game winner right there.
Yeah, I remember
that would have been a Disney movie. Disney was talking to us, if you win this game, we're making a movie about you. Well, they didn't, but they fell short. But my point being is, Gordon Hayward ends up being a solid NBA player. He's kind of dipped since then, but when he first came in the league in Utah, he was a very good player. Other than that, he really didn't have anybody. It was, I won't forget, do you remember Matt Howard at all, his power forward / center?
Sounds familiar, yeah.
All right. Dopey, tall, white dude. Kind of look like Napoleon Dynamite. All right. So you got this really kind of guy sitting there, and you got these bulky guys going up against him, and they could not win against him. They could. This guy he just played smart. He out rebounded you. He would block you. I mean, physically. Yes, he was tall and he was built for the game. But you had these guys really massive, built, and they just had issues taking him on. And you had players like that. That's why he went overseas to play. He wasn't good enough for the NBA.
Right.
But this team was just filled with key players, role players, that just got it done in the moment. So that's what it comes down to. So we could predict all we want. We could be wrong about everybody we picked. But the tournament resumes Saturday. First game's at 2:40 p.m. The last game is Sunday night at 9:45 p.m. And then we're at the Elite Eight. And then so we're about a week and a half away from the college championship, and I'm glad we could see one. I know it was kind of iffy there for a while, but now we're here, so
it's fun. I think the world needed this, or the world needed this.
The bars needed
this. It's fun. There's a lot of upsets. It's exciting. It's not boring. I've tuned into a lot of it this year, so because I was bummed about not seeing it last year, so I'm sure we'll be watching it this year. Bummed about Ohio State, but like I was saying, there's learning experience by this loss. Gonna be a big learning experience by them. Kind of showed how Ohio State's kind of played towards the end of the season. Ohio State started out great this season.
The whole Big Ten did, And
then everything just kind of trickled down, and like they got Purdue losing. Got Purdue, Iowa got beat. It's just like Big Ten didn't look very well in the March Madness this year, but what are you gonna do? So yeah, it's been fun. I enjoyed it. Can't wait to this weekend and see
what else happens.
I think I picked Gonzaga to win it all, but I think I would like to see an underdog team win it. I think that'd be cool.
It might happen. This is the year to do it.
That'd be like something underdog team or Roberts or that. Chicago or someone just win it all. It'd be kind of cool.
Right.
It'd be kind of cool to see that though.
I'm glad to just see difference in this. Like I don't miss it. I don't have any. Well, I'm not a big Kentucky fan, but that's besides the point. Just not seeing Duke, North Carolina, or Kentucky there. It's something new. It's something different.
Yeah.
And those programs are great. Coach Case did a great job down there in North Carolina with Duke. Not the school North Carolina, but where they're at. But just to see a mix and just see the Big Ten take it. I know somebody, they had an issue with Big Ten having about 7-8 teams in that tournament. I was like, look, they deserved it this year. This isn't just favoritism against the others. The Big Ten was really good this year. Half the conference was really, really good. And so the fact that these guys are in it because they did so well against the rest of the Big Ten, that says enough there, where a lot of the league would not do as well against the Big Ten. So, I thought it was fair, not just because I like the Big Ten, but because they were the conference to beat.
I think overall, Big Ten, is disappointed about how it's gone, They've kind of one and dones, or second round done.
Right.
I think the Big Ten conference overall, they kind of wish Big Ten would have put a bit better performance on in the March Madness, but it didn't happen. What are you going to do? Iowa gets beat. That was a game I thought they should have won.
Right.
But it's tough. You just don't know in these tournaments. You don't know. One team has an off night. You can't have an off night. You got to play 100%.
Win or go home.
Yeah.
That's what it is the whole time.
This is it. You can't have these off nights. So it is what it is. It was it is, though. But Purdue did. Big Ten did have an excellent regular season, though. I watched a lot of Big Ten basketball this year, and there's a lot of good games.
Yeah, there was. It was a very exciting. And I don't think it's a fluke. You're going to see it next year too.
Oh yeah.
That's just how it's going to be moving forward there. Mm-hmm. So that's your March Madness there for what we have so far. Going into with the Cleveland Cavaliers, it's win one, lose one, win one, lose one of late. They play the Chicago Bulls tonight at 8 p.m. That's a team. This is a game they could win. However, unfortunately, Colin Sexton is hurt. He's got a little bit of an agging hamstring there. Your starting lineup was posted. It is going to be Darius Garland, who's been playing very well of late. Isaac Okoro, who's also been stepping up. Chetty Osman at small forward, Larry Nance Jr. at power forward, and Jared Allen at center. And that could still be enough for them to win. Mm-hmm. But here's the big topic right now, and you know it. Tomorrow's the NBA trade deadline. Normally with the NBA trade deadline, no matter how good or bad Cleveland is, Cleveland's name is out there.
Yeah.
They're making some kind of noise or whatnot. And it keeps getting interesting because we have a Cleveland Cavaliers team that's young. They're slowly getting better and better. You can tell that the pieces are there. The issue is all the noise just does not settle down.
Right.
And that's why I think they're hoping for this trade deadline to come and get over with already. Andre Drummond, we know the situation with him. A lot of people think he's going to get bought out. I think he gets traded tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I think the reason being why I think that is, well, how should I say it? You look at last year when the Cavs traded for him. That was big news. Nobody saw that coming. Also, Andre Drummond headed to Cleveland, and I know when I heard that, I went, what the hell? Like, I loved it, but I was like, I was not expecting that. You know, and I think you're going to hear it tomorrow, too. And I think the reason is competing teams on the West don't want to see him go to the Lakers. Competing teams in the East don't want to see him go to the Nets. So if you're the Knicks, the Mavericks, and there's been a couple other teams, you want to just rent this guy out and give yourself the advantage. Just, you know, he might not sign long term. It might not happen. So you throw expiring contracts, second-round pick, and say, this is what we can give you. And then Cleveland basically does the rest from there. I have read this morning that reports came out, you know, with the JaVale McGee situation about what's going on with that. He has told the team that he will not take a buyout. If you don't trade me, I will stay in Cleveland the rest of the season. Okay, he likes being around these young guys. However, it is now coming out that he's gaining more and more interest, and a trade could be on the way tomorrow. So there's a chance that both Cavs big men, not Jared Allen, of course, could be gone there. Taurean Prince's name's floated around. Cedi Osman's name continues to float around more, which I thought
that's odd though. He's been playing pretty. He's been playing pretty well.
He's played better this year than maybe he's ever.
I don't know if that's a Cleveland thing to do. Trade him when the guy's actually, you know, the future could be, you know, future of.
And he's signed long term too. He's
you know.
But I think what it comes down to is, does he fit Bickerstaff's system? Which I see him, he does. But here we have to go to the bigger picture. I'm sure you heard about the news yesterday that's been leaked concerning the ownership of the team.
Oh, no, I didn't hear about that one.
You did not hear about it. So Chris is going to learn something. All right. Well, it's come out, you know, Dan Gilbert unfortunately had a stroke 2 years ago, okay?
Yeah.
He's been involved, but not as involved because of his health, you know. You know, he sold other businesses, including Jack Casino. So he's slowly moving his way out. This winter, he's been in Florida all winter long. He's been spending time there. He has made, you know, he's talked to the team. He's made some communication, but limited. It has come out that I guess some time ago, they haven't said how long ago it was, his oldest son, Grant Gilbert, was hired as a position and has been sitting there in the front office working with the team. Oh. And the news coming out that Dan could be handing his son over the responsibilities. Now, this kid's early 20s.
Yeah.
That's the thing with this, you know. And I'm sure, I don't think he just hands him the whole thing right away and says, son, go wing it, you know. And there's been now rumors since yesterday afternoon when this news came out that Kobe Altman's job is suddenly on the line because his son might want to bring in his own people or his dad's people. Oh. But Kobe is the rumors are not from a big source. They're not from a a reliable source. These are just cavalier writers, speculation rumors. Kobe's done a good job there. His dad seems to like it. Dan seems to like him. And again, I don't think Dan's completely out of it yet. I don't see him going anywhere. I don't, unless something happened wrong in the background we don't know. Similar to the whole Francisco Lindor thing we're finding out for the Indians. Yeah. I don't see Kobe Altman going anywhere. That's just me. Now we'll see what happens at trade deadline because he could be a hero or like he would have to do really bad to make it look like a loot. You know, and I'm not saying if he buys out Andre Drummond he lost the whole because he made a couple of trades. Both he had to make in a way. One was good, one was bad. I'm talking about the Kevin Porter one. He had to make some tough calls there. And so now he's in a situation where he gets something basically for, I won't say nothing because they're good players, but Taurean Prince, he probably doesn't fit the profile long term right now. Andre Drummond, he's about gone. Kevin Love, nobody's interested right now because he's hurt. It's come out. So Love's going to be on the team probably until at least next year. At this point, I don't think they even dump him at the trade before the draft. I don't see it happening. It's very interesting in Cavaliers camp right now, and this is all happening when the team isn't playing too bad either.
Right, yeah.
Like they got a lot of the pieces there. When you have again, we brought it up before. If LeBron James comes on and says, "I like what you got," then you got something good going on there.
Mm-hmm.
Which, by the way, they play them after tonight.
Mm-hmm.
They play the Lakers again in LA. I don't know. We'll I guess we're going to find out what's going on with tomorrow. The one thing I will tell you is Larry Nance isn't going anywhere. Teams have called about him.
Yeah.
They're not going to trade it. They said it would have to be a special package. Like it would have to be huge. You have to give him a lot to get to And he has faith Cavaliers wouldn't trade him up and trade. The trading thing, like I said, I agree with you. It's kind of odd, especially the teams calling for him, like the Warriors and the Rockets. I mean, unless they're giving up some first round picks, and I doubt. Well, Rockets now have a couple picks they can move.
Right. Yeah, that's just kind of odd. I don't know if that's a Cleveland move to do that, because sometimes Cleveland sports make boneheads moves.
Right.
Would that be a Cleveland move? But I don't hope not. Hope he stays, because when he gets hot, he gets hot. He's on. He's a shooter.
Yeah, they like playing with him. It seems like. I mean, he's a guy kind of cool, collected, and clean. That's why it's a big deal. We were talking with Bob last week about where Chetty kicked the Gatorade cooler and threw his headband down. That was an episode that was rare, so you could tell there was frustration at that point. If Chetty Osman's doing that, then there's something going on. There's something going on there. And his teammates would comfort him, cool him down. They're on his side. But the thing is, this team is going the right direction. You don't want to make a move to go backwards. It's just hard because they had such a good start. Then they do the trade for Jared Allen, pretty much saying, look, we're not going to give Andre the money that he wants, and we'll give this kid. I mean, there are reports coming out. Jared Allen could get $100 million extension this summer. I mean,
so now with the playoffs, there'll be the 9th and 8th team, or they play the play-in game. Are they still doing that?
Yeah.
So ninth seed and the 8th seed team, right? Will play the play-in game.
There's
or how
10
that go?
seeds.
There's 10 seeds.
There's 10 seeds. Yeah.
So I know last year the bubble they did that play-in. They played that play-in game. So are they doing that this year also too?
Similar. Yeah, they like the way it worked out, so they want to see.
Okay.
I forget exactly. I haven't looked it up really because
right now Cavs are in 12th.
Yeah, that's the other thing too about. Like, I'm glad you brought that up. They're only a couple of games back. There's a lot of basketball left to play.
Month of April.
And most of May too.
It must be 22nd the playoffs start or something. So.
Or is that might be the last game? That might be the last game of the season. Yeah, most of May too. Yeah, it's different because they had such a late start this year. So hopefully we will see. Maybe they get back to a normal schedule going into the next season. I expect the draft's probably going to be end of August, early September, somewhere along there.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll see how it goes. But yeah, and that was another thing I wanted to bring up too, as regarding this whole tournament and everything. Is I'm sitting there watching because the Cavs, if they don't make if they fall short of the playoffs, they still have a chance for a high pick. The way the draft is set up, like they could be sitting there 13th. Best odds of the pick and get the third pick or something like that. It could happen. Yeah. This class isn't bad. This class has some great talent. I was reading up a little bit more about it. Apparently the earlier picks, like obviously the earlier picks are expected to be the better ones, but there's some quality role players from 12th and down there. This class, it's interesting though, because your top two prospects, one is a center and one is a 6'7" point guard, like we mentioned there. And the stuff I'm hearing about the Cavs is, what if they land that first or second pick? What's, the assumption there? Evan Mobley, the center for USC, he hasn't been ruled out by the Cavs yet. I mean, you're going to need a backup center eventually for Jared Allen.
Right.
Bringing him off the bench. I've heard comparisons about Zydrunas Ilgauskas because he moves well and he can shoot outside very well. And Z in his prime, he was tough. He was. Before LeBron came and everything, when Z was younger and before all the injuries. Z was a very aggressive center at a time, So there's him. there's the question about Cade Cunningham of Oklahoma State. All right, 6'7" point guard. Do the Cavs need another guard? Well, here's the thing you gotta remember: they had to trade Kevin Porter.
Yeah.
So now they're open to the idea of adding another guard because they're like, all right, we traded a big piece. We would like to have that void filled in again somewhere to complement Garland and Sexton up there.
Which I believe Kevin Porter is playing pretty well.
He's playing damn well.
And I've seen they had, almost 30-something one game?
He's averaging 22,
yeah, 22
you know.
so.
Unfortunately, they're on a losing streak.
Yeah, but I seen that, though. I was like, he's playing this good. I'm
right.
like, oh, man.
Well,
yeah.
That's what
yeah.
the thing I've explained is I had friends that are like, man, we should have kept him. And I said,
yeah.
look, I liked him a lot, too, but you can't go all out for somebody that's going to call you a slave owner at the end of the day. You know, I mean, that's what happened. And the Cavs, there's NBA executives all over the league that said they went above and beyond. They did more than any team would have for him. So, and here's the thing you got to remember, and I hope the best for him, too. I hope that he's clean the rest of it. I hope he's a regret for the Cavs just for his sake.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If he has one more bad slip-up, this is all for nothing.
Right.
That's what it comes down to. That's why Tessa said he was a good person in the locker room for the most part from what we're hearing. The players liked him.
Mm-hmm.
There was just stuff in the background. And, I read up a little more on him, and I didn't know that when he was in college, and he was a hot prospect, because he was like a top 50 high school recruit, and USC grabbed him. And the reason he fell so low in that draft, bottom first round, not too bad, was because of all his problems. And while he was at USC, Kobe Altman regularly went to campus and visited him. Before, and that's
right.
surprising because a lot of people might take that as tampering, kind of, but because it was more of a mentor and trying to help him get through, the league was okay with it, I mean, he went all out for that kid. I mean, they traded $2 million and 4 second-round picks for him. I mean, they were all in for him, and it just did. So then they traded him for a second-round pick. But I wish him well. I know Houston's rebuilding, and that's going to be a big test for him. They're at a 20-some game losing streak. Mm-hmm. They're rebuilding. It's not going to get easier next year either.
Tucker just they trade Tucker or not?
I thought they did. I'll look that
up. I thought that came up there, maybe in the process of trading him or something. I thought that was big. Him getting traded too, because if they're trading him, they're just wrapping it up. What they're trying to do,
right,
trying to get these picks, for the.
Exactly. I'll pull
He's
that.
a big piece of their off. He's a big 3-point shooter. I thought I read something like that. They were trying to trade him, or he did get traded. But yeah, let's say right now Cavs are in 12th spot, so they're in a good spot actually. With a lot of basketball playing left, but it's going to be interesting tomorrow. See what kind of moves they're going to make. I hope they don't make too many. Bad
trade him to the Bucks.
Trade him to the Bucks. Look at that. So that's huge.
They're talking about getting Aaron Gordon too, and for Oladipo, and they'll end up trading John Wall. Maybe if not this year, next year too, because he's just not happy. It's just a broken situation. They need a whole overhaul. They need because they entered this year as a playoff contender, and now they're going to be a top 3 pick, maybe depending how the balls drop. In the lottery there.
You had your star player wanted to leave. He refused to come around the team, Harden.
Right.
And they finally traded him. And it's like, it was all a mess. They came as a contender, and now they're not a contender, just like that.
Right. And that's tough. And they've had problems for a while. It was too much of a toxic team to make that jump to the championship. They was a very talented team, but it just They just could not get over the hump. And it was like, I brought this up before, I'll bring it again, J.B. Bickerstaff of the Cavs, a great coach. He's doing a good job. He's doing what he can right now. And he's really done well with the guys. I think that he is our guy going forward.
Oh, yeah.
When, you get offered a head coach job in the NBA or anywhere, that's a big deal, His first offer was, he was an interim with the Rockets. He got him to the playoffs. When they asked him to stay long term, he declined it. So that said a lot right there.
Yeah.
You know, and he eventually gets a job with Memphis and whatnot. But he saw the writing on the wall. He looked at that team and said, "This is going to be more headaches than it needs to be."
I
You
know.
know, and he that's not his words, but he just said he declined it. And you just got to, because you never really see that, and you just know how smart JB is. You just add it up. You know, that was just a tough team to deal with from the get go, and it was. It's sad to see a talented team go like that way, but like, I mean, we even saw it here in Cleveland when even our championship run, the drama and stuff. It's like you want what the Spurs had, what somewhat the Lakers had in the past. I know there became drama between Kobe and Shaq for a while, even though they deep down loved each other. But before that team clicked on all cylinders with Rick Fox and
Rick Fox,
Derek Fisher and all of them, you know. And that's the kind of thing you want. You want dominance with no BS, basically, you know. So, I mean, we'll see. I mean, I think the Cavs' future is...
Because they got 8 o'clock the game started. The Bulls are in 9th, the Cavs are in 12th. Cavs are 16 and 20-something, I believe. Record, and Bulls are 19. Yeah. Bulls are 19
I just had it up here, and I changed
19 and something, 20-something. Something like that.
16-27 for the Cavs, 19-23 for the Bulls.
Okay, yeah.
You know, and Bulls is another team with some young pieces trying to get over that hump. Again, they have that highlight reel machine and Zach LaVine, who I know is
He's tough.
Yeah, he is. I'm a fantasy team. He's killing it this year. He's doing very well. And I'm sure Minnesota regrets getting that pick. Speaking of Minnesota, you know, I'm reading these mock drafts and whatnot, and they got them number 1 pick overall. I mean, Minnesota's back up there at the top there. Now, if they do get number 1 pick overall, that's going to be huge.
Yeah.
Getting that with Towns and
the rookie, he's
kid from Georgia.
Yeah, he's good.
I can't believe I'm forgetting his name because he's playing very well these days. Yeah, him. But he's good. But I was looking at this mock draft, okay? And, of course, you know, we got these players I was bringing up in the tournament. There's 2 in the top 5, they're saying, played in the G League this year. Did not go to a school, signed on for that 6-figure deal to play in the G League. And I guess both of them did very, very well, but they're talking about both of them being top 5 picks.
Oh, wow.
In there. Mm-hmm. And I found that interesting, because this is the first year it's really I knew there was one guy, but I guess now there's 2. And there's a lot of good overseas talent coming in, too. This is overall a solid class, like I said. But again, all that counts is you get the pick right. We've seen classes where they rated them strong and they were weak. We've seen classes that rated weak and they rated them strong because people picked the wrong players.
Right.
You know, it didn't add up. I mean, look at, we brought the Timberwolves. How are they still here? You look at that 2011 draft, Cavs get Kyrie and Tristan. Okay, they picked Tristan over though Klay Thompson, Kawhi Leonard, all these other players. The Timberwolves picked Derek Williams out of Arizona, who ended up being a role player off the bench for the Cavaliers later on when LeBron comes back. But he wasn't number 2 overall pick worthy, and they thought, oh, this guy, he's got the talent to be a, I won't say, maybe Paul George more like they were kind of looking at him, and he did not pan out that way. So you make a bad pick like that, that's going to set you back. And the Cavs could tell you that, you know, in the Dion Waiters picks, the Tyler Zeller picks, where there was just so much better on the board at that time, you know. But at the time, it looked good. Now it's, you know, it's all whatever. So, yeah, they play, that game has pretty much kicked off right now between the Bulls. It's a game they should win. Again, Cavs and Bulls games are always close, always tough. And you don't have Colin Sexton tonight, so somebody's got to step up to the plate.
Well, that should be, say, a winnable game. You come to Friday when they play the Lakers.
And they'll play them tough. It'll be a good game.
But think about this, though. Playing the Lakers, you got LeBron out, and you got Anthony Davis out.
Yeah.
So think about this. 2 wins back-to-back, 12 right now.
Right.
You could easily, depends who loses, move to 10.
Right.
You could be sitting at 10 Saturday morning.
Right. And then Saturday they go on.
Depends who loses, you know, in front of you.
Between now and our next show here, the Bulls tonight, Lakers Friday, Kings on Saturday. Kings are not bad this year. Kings put up a good game against them the other night and won. And then they put this one's gonna be scary. Monday they play in Utah. Utah's good.
Utah's good.
Utah. If LeBron and AD do not come back at a reason, and I think they will. I do honestly think they will. They'll be back by playoff time. Utah could be a threat. They could be what Denver was last year.
Right.
So
we got Utah 1 seed, the Suns 2nd seed, correct? The Suns 2nd seed.
Let me pull up the standings here. Yes, give me a sec. For the Western Conference, Jazz, Suns, Clippers, Lakers, Nuggets, Trailblazers, Spurs, Mavericks, Warriors, Grizzlies, and that's your top 10.
Okay.
The rest there, and Timberwolves is the worst team in the league right now.
Yeah, so it's actually 10. So Cavs could easily move that 10 spot if you think one of these next two games, and if whoever loses in front of them, they could easily be in 10 spot.
Right. For the East, you got 76ers, Nets, Bucks, Hawks. Hawks really shot up on there. They were kind of struggling there for a while. Hornets, and they just lost LaMelo.
Yeah,
so
he's been playing good, too. Yeah. He's on a heck of a rookie year.
Heat has been heating up.
Yeah, they've been doing what they were kind of looking like that, what they're doing in the playoffs last year, in the bubble.
Right.
They just came on out of nowhere and just started destroying everybody and made it to the finals.
Knicks have been playing well. They are the 7th seed. Mm-hmm. Celtics 8th. They've been kind of off. They lost to the Cavs, too, on St. Patrick's Day. Then you got the Bulls in 9th and Pacers at 10th. Ahead between the Pacers and Cavs are the Raptors.
Right.
And not too far behind the Cavaliers is the Wizards and Magic. Pistons are a little bit out there. They're the worst there.
Think about these next 2 games for Cavs are winnable games, especially how banged up the Lakers are right now, and winnable versus the Bulls. These are 2 games that are actually important.
Right. And to clear up what I said too about the Kings, they're 3rd to last in the West, but lately they've been playing much better. They have good key players, and they got a good coach there, and Luke Walton, former Cavalier, but that they still got a little ways to go. One guy that's played very well for them is Harrison Barnes. There, the guy that was with the Warriors against the Cavaliers.
He's still around though, Harrison Barnes.
Yeah, I mean
he's been around for a while.
He was in the same draft as Andre Drummond. Yeah. And I remember,
like he's been,
And what shocked me, and again, it was a whole smoke screen when the Cavs drafted Dion Waiters. There was an because remember the NBA was on strike the beginning of that season. Mm-hmm. So there was an interview with at the time GM Chris Grant, and they were asking him, "Hey, like what you're watching these college basketball games? What's it looking like?" And he let it slip out. Harrison Barnes is the best prospect in this group. Well, with Anthony Davis, and they even came out and said later if they would have won that pick, which again it came down to a coin toss, if you can remember, between the Cavs and the Pelicans, that they said Anthony Davis was on top of their board, but Dion Waiters was second. Now, you're also talking about the same group of people that liked Anthony Bennett number 1 overall, so I'm just throwing that out there. Where you have Andre Drummond, Brandon Beal. Now, they couldn't touch Beal at that time. Bradley Beal, excuse me.
Yeah, Bradley Beal.
And Harrison Barnes. And they picked Dion Waiters over them, and that was... Again, old front office, old moves, I don't think Kobe Altman's going anywhere, though, with all the talks about Greg Gilbert supposedly going in to take over the team and whatnot.
No, but I think tomorrow's important, though. I mean, this for Cavs, though. What direction are they going to go? I'm very curious to what direction they're going to go.
It's going to... It's going to determine the rest of the season, I think. It really is. Because this is what I like to see, something I want to just say before our first break, is, I want to get something out of Drummond. I like the guy, but he's going to be gone. Mm-hmm. I like to see Chetty stay. Tyrion Prince, I'm kind of like, if he goes, he goes. Like, I like the guy, but it was just to match the money in that trade, and the James Harden trade. I would like to see McGee stay the rest of the season. That's for me personally. He likes being around these guys. He's made videos about him goofing around with them.
Yeah.
He likes training with them. It's if they have a shot for a little playoff seed, I want that guy in the locker room with them. I want that guy off the bench with them. Here is a brutally honest opinion of mine. Let's say McGee does get traded and Drummond doesn't. This is going to sound crazy, but maybe apologize. Drummond said, "Look, we're paying you. Why don't you come back and play?"
Yeah.
Even if it's off the, maybe not insult him, say off the bench, but Jared Allen could still learn a thing or two. But I know they want to play him and everything, but while he's here, kind of attitude. We'll see. We got to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk some NFL free agency. We're going to do that. A big free agent came to Cleveland today. We're going to talk about that, and just stay tuned. We're going to be talking about some NFL free agency. Well, yeah. Here on That's the Beard Night Pod. I didn't know what else to say. I was like, That's the Beard Night Pod, CityRecords.com. We'll be right back. 5 minutes.
These blues. This morning the blues walked in like a man. All these blues. The blues walked in like a man. Worried blues. Give me your right hand. Oh, the blues is a low down and a shaking chill. Yeah, it's preaching now. If you ain't never had 'em, I hope you never will. When I preach these blues, you come on in, take your seat and sit on down. When I preach these blues, you come on in, take your seat and sit on down. And if the spirit moves you, if the spirit moves you, and if the spirit moves you, Lord, if the spirit moves you, jump straight up and down. Ah, let these blues is a low down and an aching heart disease. Yeah, these blues is a lowdown and an aching old heart disease. Like consumption, killing me by degrees. I can study the rain, oh, I drive my blues away. I've been studying the rain, I'm gonna drive my blues away. Going out to the distillery, gonna stay out there all day. Up jumped the devil.
Alright, we are back here with Chris. 10 Cent Beer Night here on a beautiful March day here in Ohio. Great. Our second to last show in March, believe it or not. We're already at that time there. Of course, Chris, I know you've been paying attention to all the NFL talk and free agency and whatnot. Before we get to that, reminder that the NFL Draft is in Cleveland this year, just a little bit up north from us, and they said you could grab your tickets next week on the... I'll pull up the app for you. I'll read you the app, I should say. The NFL One Pass app. Let me see if I can... It looks like this, if you can see. You have to download it on there and to achieve your ticket for the NFL Draft. They are free. This is a free event, free admission. If you want to be part of the inner circle, it's selected fans. So I don't even know how they select them.
Well, you gotta be vaccinated.
You have to be vaccinated.
You have to
yes,
show
you
your
do.
card.
You do, yeah. You have to show your card there. It sounds like getting into a country, and you got to show your card. Like, here, I'm coming in to hear Roger Goodell speak, even though nobody likes to hear him speak. They'll let you on the field to kick field goals. At First Energy Stadium. This could be a great event. I've been wanting to see an NFL Draft Day for a while, and now that's going to be clear. I'm going to be definitely going. Again, it's free too. You just got to show up. They are mandating masks and whatnot for now. I think some things could change, but they have to say that for now. What the state of Ohio will do until then, we don't know. But just be prepared for whatever. That's what I have to just tell fans concerning that. It's going to be a fun day, though. It really is, and I'm hoping for good weather there.
It's going to be a long weekend. What, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, right?
Yes, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
It's money all 3 days for downtown Cleveland.
Oh, yeah.
There'll be an outskirts, too, of, suburban parts of Cleveland. Be money, because people will probably want to stay in the hotels there, too.
Right. I have not checked the Indians or Cavs schedule. Well, Cavs will probably... Let's see. What this is end of April?
Yeah.
It's the draft. Oh, Cavs will still be playing. So there's a chance Cavs and Indians could... I have to check their... You know what? We could...
Indians home opener is the 5th. So the Indians could be playing.
Right. Well, let's look that up now for the folks at home real quick. NFL Draft Day.
So there could be 3 things going on.
So April 29th through May 1st here. Let's see. Let's pull up the Cavaliers schedule. Make sure they're not. So this is at the end of it. By the way, they're up 18-12 against the Bulls right now. I'm gonna go ahead and pull up the Cavs schedule just so that's gonna send me to ES. Some links send me to fantasy basketball and stuff, and I don't want to go there. That's just not going to tell me what I need.
Well, technically, think about it too. It could be Monsters playing too.
Monsters could be
playing too. If Cavs are away, could be playing. So, are off. So it could be.
Cavs will place. The Cavs will be at home that weekend. They play the Wizards on Friday and the Heat on Saturday. And yeah, so Cavs will be at home for sure. Let me pull up the Indian schedule for you. No, don't play a song.
Yeah, so if you are going to that, plan your trip wisely. Because there could be a decent amount of people up there. Maybe not the full amount like you really would if it was no pandemic, But there's going to be a lot of people, though, I imagine.
Exactly. Let me get you.
But now they're announcing fans with yesterday or whatever. Or
Indians
coming.
will be at Chicago that weekend against the White Sox there. So Indians will not be in town, but like we said, so the Cavaliers will be. So you got Cavs thing, and I'm expecting to open up more seats by that time. So there's going to be some kind of traffic around there. So there you go. Since we last had a show, Browns made some moves. They added a linebacker, a cornerback. They had this is going to sound like last summer all over again. Jadeveon Clowney was in Cleveland today talking to the team. He actually never met them in person because last year during COVID, he only could meet them through Zoom and Skype or whatnot. And he's talking to them. This is kind of mixed feelings as a fan. As long as they don't pay him a big amount of money, it's a good move. Because the thing is, he's hurt a lot. But when he plays really well. Mm-hmm. But it comes down to the point is, this guy gets hurt a lot. That's what I'm trying to get at. So I think Andrew Berry's played his cards right. He's tested the waters a little bit. He's not going to overpay for anybody. He's had a very good free agency so far, just grabbing pieces. For your Pittsburgh Steelers, there, I think the shocking news was Juju Smith-Schuster signs a 1-year deal with them, denying contracts from the Ravens and the Chiefs. Did you see that one coming?
The way that they were releasing everybody, they pretty much are cleaning house.
Right.
I could see him coming back because they had the money to bring him back. But yeah, he took lower money to come back.
Right.
Which
was a compliment to you guys.
And I could see him more coming back. I thought about, man, they're letting this guy go. I mean, Bud left. You got Hilton left. You got two big names right there leaving. I mean, it's like they kept on going and going and going. It's like, okay, you're going to have some of the money now to sign someone like Juju. So I'm not surprised they came back, but I like it. I like the move. They needed him. That offense needed him. But the concern now is the defense. That hasn't been a concern in a long time for the Steelers.
Well, a lot of guys have moved,
Their defense is a concern because they lost a lot on that defense. Everybody walked. So it's like... Now, Sutton got released. They released Sutton. There's a lot of issues, I guess, going on with him. Kind of why they released him. But there's a lot of needed spots. This draft's going to be important for them. Right.
Well, and that's what I was going to move on to. And I'm not asking you, guess who they're going to pick. Let's just talk positions. Big part of free agency is pretty much over, okay? You got a gist of where Steelers are at right now. What positions going the first couple rounds do you see them definitely hitting on that they're going to need right away off the bat?
Well, they're going to need a running back because no one has picked up Connor yet.
Right.
I don't know if the Steelers are going to bring him back or not. Snell would be your starting running back.
And I like Snell, but there's questions about
I don't know if he's starting running back just yet.
Right.
So it's like you're going to need a running back. So they dropped the ball last year getting a running back, which I thought they should have. Got it last year. But get a running back this year. They're going to need some O-line. They need a center. They're going to need they got Highsmith, which they drafted last year. He'll be taking Bud Dupree's spot. They're very high on Highsmith. I think they're looking for that for the future, too, with Highsmith. They kind of knew about Bud. They weren't, kind of 50-50 about him, so... They kind of knew this possibly could have happened, what happened, him leaving. But, so there's, got a feeling for Pouncey. Pouncey's gone, retired. You need a center. O-line is a key, which I think they need.
Right.
Your O-line. So, of course, you need a running back. Yeah, but saying draft a quarterback. Remember, you got Mason Rudolph, and you got Haskins still there.
Right.
So, they draft a quarterback, maybe late round or something.
Right.
But I'm saying look for the future. I think Mason or Haskins is there. They see something in Mason. Mason's still sticking around.
All right.
So, yeah, I think O-line is what they have to address.
Right.
First couple picks should be O-line because they need O-line and they're running back for sure. Of course, they do always good. Steelers always do well in the draft, but they do crappy in free agency.
All right.
They never do anything in free agency. It's just what they do.
And-
No one's really shocked, but they had no money to
Right.
protect any of their players.
Right. Exactly.
That's just what happened.
It's
so everybody
a-
walked.
right.
You know.
It's a solid class for running back
Yeah.
this year. It's just where you take them.
Mhm.
O-line, obviously there's some good O-line.
Yeah.
It's not like last year where in the top 10 all these tackles were taken, you know.
Mhm.
This year, there's quality, but it could fall down the Steelers in where they would like it. But I think their temptation is going to be, and this is what a lot of people are saying, I agree with them, and I've been kind of saying it before it was said, Fields could drop to Pittsburgh's plate,
Yeah.
and that's where the temptation comes in. Now, you as a fan, I know you've paid attention to these guys longer than I've been alive. You might think, well, I don't know, they might just get the best O-line and running back right there and then. But we've seen Green Bay fall for that temptation. We've seen other teams in solid situations follow for the temptation. Like, you know what, I really like this guy. Let's go out and get him. You know, you could, as an early prediction here. Do you see if Fields were to land right there, fall to them, or do they take the chance to see if he falls to the second? Because he could. I mean, he's a good quarterback, but he kind of didn't show up in that championship game, and he didn't show up in the Big Ten championship either. Like it was basically against Clemson. It was his big game.
Maybe second round grab him, but I don't know if I would waste these first couple rounds on a quarterback because, like I said, you got Haskins there.
Right.
They're
Who I think has
they're
potential.
going to have Ben to groom him.
Right.
You know, they're going to have Ben to groom him this year. And of course, you got Mason. Mason's not that bad. He's just not.
He knows the
typical-
playbook.
Yeah, he knows your playbook.
Yeah.
He's not your typical Steeler quarterback. Like a Ben, but he proved himself. I think in these the last game of the season, where he had him down the wire, almost pulled off the win. I think he proved himself a lot more. I was hard on him, but I think he played more better than I thought he would. But remember, you got these two guys, quarterbacks sitting right there. So do you actually need a quarterback first 2 second rounds? I don't think so. I'd go what you actually need right away is a running back or O-line play. You need corners. Steelers never take corners high. They always take corners low. You're going to need a corner.
This is
or
a
safety,
good
but
draft
it's a good draft, so
for
you need corners.
Yeah.
So they got Sutton's out. You got Hilton's out. I mean, only one's really stranded back there is Joe Hayden. And then you have the other one's still there. But, I mean, there's needs that they need. I don't know if it'd be smart enough for them to get a quarterback right away. Might be later on, maybe grab one, decent one. Now, there's decent quarterbacks in this draft. And there's some are going to be going, waiting around to get picked. So,
Right. They said corner or quarterback?
quarterback.
Okay. I was going to say, you were talking about
Corner.
corners.
They're going to need corners, too, because they let, a couple walk.
One guy that's been talked about, he will be there probably when Pittsburgh picks. Because a lot of people have him going to Cleveland, but you're talking about Pittsburgh's need for cornerback, okay? And he's been lining up J.C. Horn from South Carolina. For people that remember, his dad, Joe Horn, wide receiver for the Saints. J.C. is a very fast, very talented cornerback. I know the kid from Northwestern, the Browns and Patriots and Broncos have talked because it's different. There's no combine. And me personally, I don't know how you feel about that. I'm down for never to be a combine again. I think it's overrated. I think because you're going by, it's basically just another competition for them. Where give these teams a pro day, give them some stuff to test out, to watch and look for, and you have enough film on them from the past 3-4 years to know what the combine's just a waste for me. That's why I like this better. I like this set, and I hope the coaches in the league tell the league, look, this was actually really nice. We really like this. could we just cut the combine? You know, I think it's just better to do pro days and stuff like that. But that's somebody to watch out for. But like the kid from Northwestern, I can't think of his name off the top of my head. He's been talked to too. So there's some great cornerbacks, coming out, in that late first round, especially, for them to grab there.
I don't know if they'll grab a cornerback their first pick though.
Steelers have been very random in the first
Yeah.
round, and I don't mean bad random. I mean like trading up for Devin. But I mean
Mhm.
people are like, "Whoa,
Yeah.
Steelers trade," because they never trade
Yeah,
up.
they never trade up. Yeah.
So they do stuff like that throws everybody for a loop. But they do know. I'm pretty sure they know they need to fill some holes and make a move if they want to be relevant going into next year. It might not be a bad. I know a lot of Steelers fans are grab the quarterback, but like you said, you have options right now, and I think, and I know you don't want to think this way, but if something were to happen and you guys had a down year and you had a high pick, maybe going after next year's quarterback would be so bad.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not going to get Trevor Lawrence.
No.
I'm sorry
Oh,
to tell
no.
you that.
No,
that's
he's
not
gone.
going to. He's gone. There's
24th pick, Trevor Lawrence. I'd be crazy if Trevor Lawrence is now 24th pick.
Urban Meyer would be fired before the draft was
That'd
over.
be
Like,
crazy.
that would be.
That'd be the biggest wreck of draft in history.
I would be pissed about that. I wouldn't like that. I said, how do you guys, 23 teams, let that
Yeah.
happen? Bengals, please pick him, even though you got Joe
Yeah.
Burrow, you know, or something. But no. But quick change the subject briefly. What is going on with this Deshaun Watson situation?
It's disturbing to the point where it's even weird to talk about.
This is
Yeah.
bad.
It goes from off-season quarterback talking about being traded to
Maybe never seeing the field again.
being never seen the field again.
Maybe seeing a jail cell at this
Yeah,
point.
it's
Like,
just so odd. There's like 14
Yeah.
lawsuits or something.
It's
now,
up to
and
14 now. And the
it's-
lawyers come out and said there is
Yeah.
one for sure that's not true.
Yeah,
Okay, well, what about the other 13? And
it's disturbing. I mean, I don't get it. I didn't see someone like that in him.
right.
He's like I was saying, he's a family guy. He's all this and this and
At
this.
least
It's
seemed
like,
to be,
seemed
yeah.
to be and all this. Heck of a player. I mean, my fantasy. I was thinking about grabbing him for next year in fantasy, but who knows how it's gonna go now.
I can't imagine somebody
It's-
dominating
it's-
Dynasty
yeah.
fantasy football and
Yeah.
have him under center and just it's
I mean, it's very disturbing, and it's like, wow. It's more of a wow than anything. It's like, really, it goes from the high talk of being traded to this.
right.
I don't know. It's just, I don't know.
It's very interesting,
Yeah.
and it's weird because if you're a Houston fan, all right, you didn't want to see the guy go.
Mm-mm.
Then he was talking a lot of bad stuff about you and your team.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're kind of like looking like, you know what, maybe a fresh start wouldn't hurt. Because at this point, it's like, really, who cares what he has to say?
Yeah.
In a way. And now, you got teams that are now, Miami's probably scared to look into him.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm only bringing it up because I know Steelers fans fantasize about the idea, well, what if we trade, I won't touch him right now.
Mm-hmm.
The Jets, too, it's the same way.
A lot of the talks have kind of got quiet ever
Right.
since it started popping out. A lot of the talks of him going where and where. I know that. It's been more of the lawsuit coming out him than actually him going to another team now. So, yeah, it's disturbing. It's crazy. I mean, hell of an athlete, It's too bad
He's proved me wrong, and when he went in
Yeah.
the draft, and I said, I think he's Vince Young all over again.
Yeah.
I said he's got talent, but I don't know if it's. And ever since then, he's come out and he's played, except when he tore his ACL.
Yeah,
back,
that year, yeah.
That kind of stunk. But he's been incredible. He's been a very good player. But just see this go down in one. But again, on top of the wish list for so many teams, and now he may not play
Play
next
again,
year
yeah.
at all,
Yeah.
if not again.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know if I should write off again because you know how business goes and you know how money is. I mean, Michael Vick's situation too. I know it's not the same thing, but
Yeah.
he still saw the field again. It makes you wonder, but It's just not good.
And if he does see the field again, there's going to be some team out there will want to take that chance.
Yeah, they
Will
will.
want to get that do-over, your second chance, There'll be some team out there will grab him. Well, if Texas let him go, there will be some team out there
It'll
will
be
grab him.
Oakland or Las Vegas. I mean,
Yeah,
it'll be
someone
the
will
Raiders.
grab him. There'll be someone will grab him.
John Gruden, very
Yeah.
desperate. He'll grab him there, but
Yeah.
we'll see there. XFL and CFL combining there. You like that?
Yeah, it's not a bad move. I mean, I think it's a good tool for NFL to get their scouts out and see what's going on, out there.
Right.
It's not bad. Just wanted to kick off, see how it goes.
Right. You
But-
give them some summer
Yeah,
football. Give
uh-huh.
it be like the G League or the minor leagues
Yeah.
of the NFL. There, I don't know how much you're going to get out of them,
No.
but it's like give them something. I'm hoping. I know it's a reach. Get a team in Akron. Use
Yeah.
Infocision Stadium
Yeah,
to
right.
get some money rolling in there somewhere. It's supposed. I heard a rumor back when XFL started. There was a connection between Vince McMahon and Akron. Something happened there, and there was talk, but nothing happened, obviously. But we got the resources. We got the fan base. I think just do it.
Of course, with The Rock being involved too now, and stuff too. So it kind of
He might
pretty
do more.
cool.
He might
do more with
flashy,
it.
Yeah,
it might be more with it.
and he's a former player too. He
Yeah.
played at University of Miami,
yep.
down there in Florida.
Mhm.
He wasn't as good as his nephew, who briefly played for the Browns there a few
Right.
years later. But he was,
I'm interested to
So-
see how it's going to go. I will, I'll draw
Yeah,
into
might
it
as
and watch
well,
it and see. And
especially somebody like you who is more football, basketball based. That going in the start, like you tolerate baseball, you like it. But if there's football there, you're definitely going to
yeah.
take that. It's like for me, like I like all those sports. But if they said, "Hey, we're doing it minor league indoor baseball in the winter, we're just gonna have it on," I'm gonna watch it. Hell yeah, that's baseball, and the off season there.
right now you got spring football going. They got Mount Union playing.
Right.
They're blowing teams out like normal. They're doing their 50 points, game.
Right. Right.
But you got, it's kind of, you can't watch it on TV, but it's just it's there. It's
Right.
it's there, something to keep up on. You got the Deion Sanders team.
Right.
With Jackson State or something. Deion Sanders.
Yeah, something like that.
They lost. They lost like last weekend, I think, and I was up in ESPN's blowing them up.
Oh yeah, because it's Deion Sanders.
It'd be kind of cool seeing that at least in spring,
Right.
of actual game. And of course, you got spring football coming up too. I'm not sure. I don't think the fan things are going to go
We got spring
well.
football coming up
Yeah.
too. MLS, they'll be back in a few weeks. They'll be back. Columbus Crew in their new stadium, which
Right.
looks really nice. I really like what the club seating and everything. It's very, very. It looks. I would love to see a game up in those club seats. I mean, they are very, very nice. I can't. They're looking to defend their championship. I
Right.
know soccer is a long sport with only X amount of games, and unfortunately, it's not as loved in America here as it is other places. But it's like the Ohio team's the defending champs, so you want to wish them well, and especially their coach with their history with University of Akron and whatnot. And that's going to start in a few weeks there. So
The Crunch are playing now.
Crunch are back.
I think
Yeah,
I think they're undefeated.
yeah, they might be.
They're undefeated. I think they're undefeated. They've been scoring high games too. 9 to 7 goals a game they've been doing. I've been following them.
Yeah, indoor scores a lot
Yeah.
more than
Outdoor.
outdoor.
It's smaller.
It's
Yeah.
smaller, and there is out of bounds, but there isn't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Out of bounds, the ball going
yeah,
over on the
going over the
yeah,
walls or
wall,
whatnot.
yeah.
But if it hits the
Yeah.
wall, it's still in play.
Yeah.
And I wanted to play indoor years ago. That was my sport I was best at, was soccer. And I never got signed up about it
Yeah.
too. And I didn't have parents that dedicated to
Right.
pay for that or whatnot. But that was another time. But I thought about it. But my uncle, who he's in his 40s now. He really messed up his leg going back out there
Yeah.
playing. I was like, I should be in more shape before I consider it. But
that's a sport that you did your knees injuries, a lot of knee injuries.
Right.
My brother played for years. He had 2 knee injuries, surgeries. My brother was involved with the Canton Invaders back in the day. He
really?
did some tryouts with them back in the day, but unfortunately his knees couldn't hold up no more for it. But Yeah, so it's
It wears and tears on you more than people think. They think it's just
Mhm.
running around chasing the ball. It's
Right.
not. It can get very aggressive.
oh yeah,
at times,
you gotta be very in shape.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
it's just-
you have to. That's
Yeah.
that's why a lot of them they're like sticks out there compared to football. You got
Yeah,
beefed up guys. You get basketball. You got a mix of them. Baseball, you can be fat and make it. That's the way it is. Look at Babe Ruth. Look at what's it, Prince.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think.
Fielder.
Fielder, yes,
Yeah.
Prince Fielder. I mean, big, but he could even hit triple.
Oh, yeah.
He could get triples
Oh, yeah.
too. But it's soccer. Yeah, you have to be. That's what it came down to. I won't forget this. This was a big moment for me as a sports fan because so much in America it was hit by the old USA coach when he cut Landon Donovan, and that was a big deal. They're like, "How are you going to cut Landon Donovan? He's
Yeah.
the big, And he said, "Because in America, you always are talking about or putting them against what they did in the past, not what they're going to provide for you going forward."
Right.
And he said, "We had better options going forward." And I talked to other soccer, including my dad who coaches college women's soccer. And he said, "Well, he said I was watching the game the other day, and Donovan took off his shirt. He had a gut and everything.
Yeah.
He wasn't as in shape. I mean, because if you think about it, around that time, Kobe Bryant was still playing and alive. Obviously, if he was still playing, he was alive.
Mhm.
But he was trying to get a big short-term contract, too, like
Mhm.
3 years, $90 million or whatever. And again, he was going off by what he did in the past, and he earned that. He did eventually earn that money. He got banged up there near the end, but still came out and played well. But I bring it up because that's what he was talking about. He said in America, that we're always relying on what you did in the past, and you're seeing a lot now. We're going back to NFL free agency. You see guys like Andrew Berry and a couple of these teams, not all of them, a couple of them, Jaguars specifically, started overpaying for guys. But you see a lot of them. They're like, "Look, we want you, but we want to pay your worth, and you're asking for too much." And a couple of these teams, like, they did pay their worth,
Right.
or they went and got somebody else that is going to put in more for the next couple of years in them. So I think slowly the tide is kind of changing because finally teams are like, look, we're going to do what's best for us in this situation, And if you're not it, you're not it. Real quick, we're coming close to our next break, but not quite there yet. I want to get in what I think with the Browns going into their draft there. So last time we talked, they had signed Malik Jackson, defensive tackle, was big for the Broncos in their Super Bowl. Cornerback Troy Hill, he'll probably be the second cornerback going into next year. They did re-sign Elijah Lee. JoJo Natson, former Akron Zip, he resigned. He played 1 game, 2 games, tore his ACL, and he was supposed to be good for their special team. Rashard Higgins resigned. After our show last week, he signed. And Anthony Walker, linebacker formerly of the Colts, signed. So what I like about that, now they're talking about JD and Clowney, so you're thinking, well, what about the draft, They got 4 picks in the first 100, okay? And I think what they're doing is actually, believe it or not, similar to what, talking defensively, Dick LeBeau did in Pittsburgh. They don't want to rush out the rookies out there like a lot of teams do.
Yeah.
And he's like, you're going to watch. We know what you're capable of. And if we have to call your name because of injury or whatnot, that's what we're going to do. So I think they're getting reliable veterans that can come out there. While they're at it, they're building onto other teams, but other players that are developing. Taki, Mac Wilson, and all that. And they know that they're going to try to improve. While they're doing that, Grady Williams is rehabbing, Grant Delpit's rehabbing, Odell Beckham Jr. Well, he's a veteran. They know he's rehab. He'll be back. So they want to go fill these spots as best as they can, and then they're going to go in the draft and make the right decisions there. And it's probably, I'm guessing, my prediction is in those first 4 picks they might actually have 5 of the first 100 because I think the fourth pick might be 101. I take that back. They do have 2 third-round picks, but my point being is in those first 4 picks, I think the 3 of them are going to be defense. It's a great defensive group. And I think that's what they're going to get the depth. They're going to get what they need, but they want veterans out there first because right now they're a winning team and they want to stay that way. Because all right, we went to the playoffs. Sorry to remind you, we beat you.
Yeah.
And then we went to the second round against the Chiefs. Yeah. The next step is to repeat, go back to the playoffs, and try to find a way to a road to the Super Bowl. They still got a lot of work to do. Jobs not done. New Cleveland motto. Right now, Andrew Berry's doing a good job, and if they don't sign Clowney, whatever. Like I told you, he's hurt a lot. When he plays well. I don't want to hand him $10 million and what. And actually, I'll be honest with you, I'm surprised he's talking to because I don't know if you remember last summer it came out the NFL got mad at the Browns because before he signed with the Tennessee, they found out Cleveland's going to sign and trade him to New Orleans for a second round pick. It was what we call a Madden move, the Madden video game, and they're like, you can't do that, which I don't understand why not. Especially if he's agreeing to it. But I'm surprised he's talking with them after it's like, look, we were going to sign and trade you. Now he's talking to them about somebody's at least going to take interest in him. Because, again, that injury prone, it kind of scares some teams, you know what I mean? Which is why I was surprised Bud Dupree got the deal he did. Great player, don't get me wrong, but he had a certain injury, and again, the Browns were talking to him too. So maybe teams are seeing something I don't. Again, I'm not in the medical professional as far as football and the NFL goes, but at the same time, you're giving players millions of dollars. Yeah. You might want to know if they hit the field or not. You might want. Well, you're getting your money's worth there. Is what I'm saying. So there you go.
I mean, with the Bud Dupree thing, Steelers lost and won with that deal.
Right.
Because they let him go. They got more money, put that in the cap, and they got Highsmith.
Right.
The rookie that a sophomore that's showing he's getting better, which they're highly of. So it's like it sucks to see Bud go, someone like that. It sucks, but it's a business. It's going to happen. But then you got a guy like Highsmith sitting there ready to go. He's confident. So I'm very curious to see how it's going to go. I think he's going to do well. He did well last year when he came in for Bud, though. Yeah.
Do they still have the guy from the Jets, or did he move?
He's still there.
He's still there. Yeah. That was a good pickup, too.
Yeah.
So they still have him.
And they got Spleen back, the linebacker. Bush is going to be back. He's got to stay healthy. That's going to be a thing with him now because his knee.
Right.
So they're going to have some pieces back there on defense, but their weakness now is going to be more of the backfield. They lost a lot in the backfield, so it's going to be interesting. I'm hoping for an 8-8 season because Steelers haven't had a losing season with Tomlin yet.
Right.
So I'll take 8-8. I'll take 8-8 for anything.
We'll see. A lot of things could happen between now and then too. Injuries and whatnot.
Oh yeah.
And well, my question is: are you finding a way to go to the Hall of Fame game?
I got tickets already.
He's got tickets already.
Yeah.
He's going to go see the Pittsburgh Steelers, who will be inducting Troy Polamalu,
Let's
Bill
keep
Cowher.
the tickets from last year.
Right.
So,
Faneca. Am I missing somebody?
Cowher, Faneca, and
Polamalu. Okay, so I got them all. Okay, Hey, that was impressive on my part. They will be inducting those guys against the Cowboys. Who they induct 1-2 wide receivers going in, right?
Yeah,
for the Cowboys.
That's usually how it is. If a team's playing, at least one of the team has someone going in. It's usually how they do it.
The last game we went to was Broncos and Falcons. I don't think anybody from either one went. No,
that's kind of shocking. Usually that's how they do it.
Right.
They kind of use one team to have someone.
Right. The last one I went before that, this was when Sammy Watkins was a rookie, because I remember he made a catch in the placement wild. It was Giants and Bills, so all New York was there. Jim Kelly was getting dictated. When he came out, all of those Bills, you thought you were at Bills Stadium, whatever it's called in Buffalo. It was all blue, and it just roared. Rightfully, Jim Kelly's a great guy, great player, well deserved. But, and when Watkins made like a 40-yard catch, whatever, that place erupted. I was like, are we in New York right now? Yeah. It's like Giants and Bills everywhere, and then, whatnot. We're about to get our break here soon. 48-44, the Cavaliers will lead with 3:46 left in the first half. Larry Nance Jr. with 9 points, 5 rebounds. Isaac Okoro with 7 points for the Bulls, 13 points and 2 rebounds by Lauri Markanian, and then 12 points, 2 rebounds by Zach LaVine. So it's about now 48-47. I think I did say that. It's been changing on and off here. Close game. It's going to stay close. Again, no Colin Sexton tonight. So we'll see what happens there. But still a lot to look forward to in the next month, even with football stealing the headlines. It's, opening day next week and whatnot, and NBA playoffs around the corner. But football finds a way into America's hearts there.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we'll take 5 minutes, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll be right back here at Ted State Bear Night on PolymerCityRecords.com.
These blues. This morning the blues walked in like a man. All these blues. The blues walked in like a man. Worried blues. Give me your right hand. The blues is a low down and a shaking chill. Yeah, it's preaching now. If you ain't never had 'em, I hope you never will. When I preach these blues, you come on in, take your seat and sit on down. When I preach these blues, you come on in, take your seat and sit on down. And if the spirit moves you, if the spirit moves you, and if the spirit moves you, Lord, if the spirit moves you, jump straight up and down. That these blues is a low down and an aching heart disease. Yeah, these blues is a low down and an aching old heart disease. Like consumption, killing me by degrees. I can study the rain, or I drive my blues away. I've been studying the rain, I'm gonna drive my blues away. Going out to the distillery, gonna stay out there all day. Up jumped the devil.
Well, welcome back. It's our last half hour of 10 Cent Beer Night here on PodMercyRecords.com from Akron, Ohio. I'm Seth.
Chris?
All right, Cavs down 53-55 with 4 seconds left of the half. The 2 points. You know, we
Yeah.
knew this was going to be a close game here. Sorry, I just got a couple messages there. Just bothering me there. Andre Drummond. They said about an hour ago a new report has surfaced of Knicks being a serious suitor there. We had talked about that. You know, they want to prevent him from going anywhere. Nets or Lakers, so they want to capitalize on this and whatnot. They do got Julius Randle and all that down there.
The Knicks fans are happy. They're loving where they are right now. They're actually rejoicing of what good they're actually doing this year because they've had some bad seasons just recently. So
yeah, what I'm impressed about with this Knicks group too is they do got some good pieces there. You know, I always said Julius Randle was a good guy when he came out of the draft. I thought that was an underrated pick back then and still now. And now they're saying he's got All-Star year and whatnot. And you have R.J. Barrett playing very, very well all of a sudden for a second year. But it's like all of a sudden now they're getting some good pieces willing to play as a team, and they're seeing good results. Tom Thibodeau down there now being the coach, getting his third chance. I mean, he's a good coach, but they've always just fell short with him. All these teams, and he brings a lot to the table as far as that's concerned and whatnot. So we'll see. I'm pulling for Knicks fans as far as that goes because now they got a real plan in there instead of just getting Carmelo Anthony, Amar Stoudemire, and everything, and to try to add on top of that and whatnot. And that didn't quite work out. So now they got something a little more promising down there. But adding Andre Drummond to that would be not a bad piece. I did hear some guys in the front office feel he might not be the answer. But it's like, again, you're just renting him out. So you're still giving the fans a better season than they had planned for. That's looking like that could be the destination there. I just think Cavs should get something out of him there. And like I said, I said how I felt about that. But again, tomorrow's going to be a big day there. That's trade deadline, excuse me.
Yeah.
We've talked a lot about different things within this past hour. So that ends, 4 o'clock?
I think it starts at 4. 3 or 4.
3 or 4 it ends, yeah.
It ends at 3 or 4, yeah.
At halftime, 53-55, Cavaliers down by 2. Larry Nance Jr., 9 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, playing well there. Darius Garland, 7 points, 5 assists. And then Isaac Okoro with 7 points there. For the Bulls, 18 points by Zach LaVine with 2 rebounds. Lauri Markkanen with 13 points, 2 rebounds. And really, that's the third best is for 6 points each by Saturnatsky and Young. Thaddeus Young. Yes, I got it right. Who's a very good player there for Chicago, and so they're down by 2 there. A win in there helps Cavaliers in the standings for sure. We'll see. They're only down by 2. No Colin Sexton tonight, but they still got other players. It's nice to see Larry Nance Jr. though step up there. Not that he's been slouched, but he's been trying to get back up after the surgery and just get back into regular form. They're getting the swing of things, and I think he should. Because I'll be honest, I think he's the starting power forward going forward. I mean, Kevin Love's not doing anything.
Yeah.
He's always hurt. He's just sitting there, and they can't trade him. They can't do anything with him, and it would be nice to see him back out there, but just right now, I am not convinced. I would hope this is the best scenario I would say for Kevin Love is if he does come back at some point this year, they'll start him like they always do, whatnot. I hope he is relaxed after no trade talks because they couldn't talk about trade talks until after the season, and he just plays solid basketball. Give these guys some kind of their money. Give their fans something, because. And I'm not saying he's intentionally getting hurt, but it's getting to the point. He tweaked this and that. He's got to sit down. He's got, it makes you wonder a little bit, but it's.
Think about going back to this trade deadline, the NBA. A lot of teams sit all day long. In that last hour, they start making these surprise trades. So don't be surprised tomorrow if.
Right.
Something happens with the Cavs. They're sitting all day long. In that last hour or two, all of a sudden, trades start just coming in. Bam, bam, bam. Some big trade happens or this or that. So every year it's like that this time of year.
Exactly. And last year, the only big all-star that was traded was Drummond to Cleveland. And again, I didn't even hear. I knew Pistons were looking at trades for him. I didn't hear Cleveland was interested until the trade happened. Usually you get word, so-and-so is talking. So, you get a kind of a gist, and then all of a sudden, boom. But again, the one I will never forget, and now watching college basketball, he's an analyst now for CBS. Wally Zerbiak reminds me of the big Cavs trade of back in 2000, was it 8?
Oh, I think it was, yeah.
Yeah.
That was big time because that was with him.
That Ben Wallace,
Delonte
West, and Joe Smith come to Cleveland.
Yeah.
But Cavaliers traded like 9 of their guys in the deal. Yeah, because that Friday, because they all had to pass physicals to be officially part of the team. That Friday, they had to call 3 players from the D League up. It was called the D League at the time, the developmental league. And to sit on the bench because they needed 8 players to play. And the Wizards still lost to LeBron and the Cavs with 3 players on the bench that didn't know the playbook. And just LeBron, Z. I think we traded Drew Gooden. I think Gooden was in that trade.
Oh, good, yeah.
LeBron, Z.
Wow.
They traded Larry Hughes. Pavlovic. He may have been traded. He may have been traded too. I'm trying to think who else would have been in that group there.
I remember a lot of them guys that they traded for showed up to the game, and they're all sitting in the suites, and they showed them on TV. I remember that. That was crazy. The fans are coming around, standing ovation when they announced them and all that at the game.
Right. Let me look that up right now to see.
But yeah, it should be interesting though. Tomorrow for the NBA, like I said, Cavs are gonna have a feeling they're gonna do something. It's not sure which direction though, but hopefully they do something smart. Because whatever they do can affect this season. Like I said, Cavs are right now sitting at 12th spot though, and they're in a good position with almost a month and a half of basketball left. So they're sitting in the good position, 12th seed right now. So.
Right. I want to make sure.
So it should be interesting. So if they go in tonight and beat the Lakers without LeBron and Anthony Davis, they could beat the Lakers. They'll be sitting all right.
Yeah, and again, they get no LeBron or Anthony Davis for the. I think you may have just said that.
Yeah. I said that, but I mean, they'll be sitting all right,
Right. Yeah. Okay. I'm pulling up that old trade there. We got the players right for the Cavs. It doesn't list who they traded away. Why would you do that? Why would you? Let me pull, because I want to see what players they had. They did sign Terrence Kinsley. I vaguely remember that name there. They had to trade away Damon Jones. This is who they traded here. No, wait. This is 3. That's an old 3. Okay, no. This is the 3. That's the 3-way trade that they got Mo Williams for. Why is it listing that too? That's
Yeah,
'cause
Mo
they-
Williams is a coach somewhere.
'cause they did have Sasha though, because
Yeah.
Sasha was traded for Shaq. Sasha and Ben Wallace got traded for Shaq. That's
Wow.
that's how that works. So they did have that. I'm trying to
Nice.
look. Here, I'll Wikipedia it and see.
Yeah, but that goes back. That's crazy. All that stuff, all the
Yeah.
trades and all that. That was a fun year though. I mean, them years back,
Right.
Cavs,
They had it. Okay, here it is. They had a trade: Larry Hughes, Drew Gooden, Cedric
Yeah.
Simmons, and Shannon Brown to the Bulls. All right, now some of those players they didn't have. The Seattle Supersonics. Okay, they were a thing.
Yeah, they're a thing then.
Ira Newbold, Danielle Marshall, and Adrian Griffin. Fun fact, by the way, I'm bringing up the Supers. I'm laughing. I would like to see Seattle back. NBA's talking about adding more teams, believe it or not. And there are old school players that are fighting, saying if you're doing that, Seattle has to come back. That's what they're saying. And I agree with it. As a Browns fan that saw it happen to us,
Mm-hmm.
I agree. If you're going to increase it, I think they're talking about 6 teams or something like
wow.
that. Like adding a team per conference, so that it would be about 6, something like that. Not conference, division.
Mm-hmm.
Adding a team per division. You gotta bring Seattle back. In that, if you're looking at the West, they're talking about all different. Like it's their debate. It might not happen for another 3-4 years, something like that. I think they want to wait till the pandemic's over too, because they're still trying to recover
Yeah,
from that. But yeah, let's see, pull up that roster real quick. So what they would have had after that trade, okay? Anderson Varejao would have played that game. Eric Snow would have played. Pavlik Sasha Pavlik, Dwayne Jones, Damon Jones, Z LeBron, of course, Daniel Gibson, maybe Devin Brown, and Lance Allred. Those were probably the 3 guys that were at last. So that's basically, you're getting the gist. That's who went up against the Wizards. And again, the Wizards don't like the Cavaliers, if you can remember, because Cavaliers always beat them in the playoffs. And so they trade away, again, half their team, and they still beat the Wizards that Friday.
Yeah.
It's something else there.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's a fun time of the year, though. I've always said, this time of the year with March Madness, free agency, football, trade deadline for NBA, it's like, even golf's coming up, next month. You got the Masters coming up next month. It's like, it's the good time of the year for sports.
Right.
Because, once again, football's done, but it comes back a little bit with the draft. And, of course, it falls down again. But you got all this other stuff that's swirling around it. I've always liked this time of the year of sports.
This is a
something's
great
always
year.
going.
And the weather's getting
Weather's
better,
nicer,
too. I
yeah.
hate the freaking cold so much.
But yeah, so it's good time of the year for sports. But Masters next month. That'd be interesting. I'd be tuning into that. So yeah, should be interesting.
I'm not the biggest golf guy, but I respect it, and I think I would like
Right.
to. I'm sure Tiger's going to get back into the field or the golf course soon. That's what he's been at least hinting or saying or whatnot.
Yeah.
And it's going to take a minute. It will. It'd be nice to see him back in Akron. Since that's another thing that got canceled last year was the Firestone tournament there. And suppose Tiger Woods because as he said, the best greens are in Ohio. He loves Ohio green. He loves playing that tournament. He's won it before. Maybe he won't be ready quite. I don't know. We'll see.
I think he has a little bit of ways out,
Right.
but that's a scary situation with him. But there's a lot of topics come up about that now. Of was he trying to do something to himself in that car? Because a lot of things are leaking out now.
Yeah.
Possibly. Don't want to say killing himself. There's been leaks out about that now. There's been multiple leaks out of that wreck.
Right.
They got that little device in the car or whatever, that black box. They got that going on, and there's been some weird talks about Tiger, and it's crazy that what happened because you're like, oh no, we got another Kobe situation here when that happened.
Right.
It's like Tiger Woods is like, the god of golf.
He's the Michael Jordan.
Jordan of all.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, but I think he's a little bit of ways out of coming back. I think he needs to get himself right.
Right.
And get his everything right before he comes back, because
Yeah.
all these back surgery he has,
Yeah.
and on pain meds, and he hasn't. With Tiger, he has been right. He has not been right after that cheating scandal. It seems like
He's one of few and whatnot.
but he just hasn't been right though. He hasn't been the Tiger before that.
What I want to see, and I encourage fans that like quality sports documentaries. Have you seen? I don't even know if it's been released yet. It might not have been.
Yeah.
HBO's documentary on him.
I didn't see that.
Have
one,
you
no.
seen? Okay, there is a great documentary coming out soon with Tiger Woods, and let me look it up for you because this looks really, really good. Like this is, I'm a big fan of really good documentaries, and this one caught my. Again, I don't follow golf. I've always admired Tiger and the people that were good at golf. It's definitely a game of skill, and patience, and it's not for everybody. I'll be honest, I'm terrible at it. Mini golf, I'm not even the greatest at, but it's for fun. You know what I mean? Let me pull this up, see if this is. Yes. Okay, it was first. It's 2 episodes. One came out January 10th. One was January 17th. You could probably watch it on HBO Go. I have not seen it yet, but the trailer was phenomenal. And I bring it up because it revealed stuff I didn't know about. Like, for example, I didn't know he actually, obviously he's very good at golf. He's very competitive. I didn't know he really didn't like it. That came out that when he always liked golfing, but his dad forced it on him. Like he wanted to try baseball, he wanted to try basketball, and his dad said, "No way, you got a rare talent. We're golfing all the time. Like you're going to be, And he hated the media. They were showing this was an old shot, probably late '90s, early 2000s. He's holding up. I think it was one of the Masters he won. He's holding up the trophy, he's smiling, and under his breath he said, "All right, is it time to effing go now?" Like he was done. He was annoyed. And he had just and some of the demons came out during that whole scandal and whatnot. But it's not to smear him; it's to reveal what his life was kind of like during his uphill, not to stardom. It's something I want to see because it looks as good as that Bulls documentary that came out and revealed all that kind of. Now it's going with Tiger kind of there too. Again, it's not to smear him or embarrass him. It's just to explain the things that he went through, some of his personal life and everything like that. Take it how you will, but there is a great and it is called Tiger. That's what it's called. 2-episode documentary came out earlier this year. Pretty good. Rotten Tomato rating 74%. IMDb gave it a 7.9 out of 10. So those are solid ratings because they are. You look up any movie people out there. I'm hit or miss a movie, but if you got ratings like that, that's usually pretty solid.
Right.
Because usually they are major critics there. Going to see if the Cavaliers have got back into action yet. Yes, they have. Down 58-55 again. It's only a little bit there. Nothing else there on the Cavs trade front. Again, we'll probably hear some stuff tomorrow. And I thought maybe we'd hear something today, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think something late's going to happen tomorrow.
They just tied
late afternoon. I don't know how well they're going to jump out right away, but they might have something by once the time's ended.
I'd say at least an hour before it's all done, you'll hear something. And I do think there's going to be multiple trades there. What they'll get back or not. I'm not going to say they're good. I will say this. I think they could leave with a couple picks tomorrow. I'm not going to say it's the first round. I think a couple second round. I'm going to say they're going to probably run out a player or maybe buy them out. I don't know. I don't think we get a key piece that's going to be here for the next couple of years, like we did with Jared Allen in this past year's draft, not draft, but trade. I just don't see it with what the Cavaliers are offering there. But we'll see. I would like to. at least get a rent out role player and keep him, like bring him in and help him with the playoff drive there. Yeah, as far as that's concerned, but we'll see. I mean, again, these trades they're random. You get some of the sense sometimes, but then there's always some team that comes out with a different deal or whatnot. But I will say, Andre Drummond is an attractive piece to somebody else's puzzle, especially if you're trying to make the playoffs. You don't want him to sign between the Lakers and Nets at the end of the day from one of those teams. I did make some mock trade ideas about a month ago. I shared this with Bob was in here. He's actually here, but he's just not in your seat. But some of those are out the window because Blake Griffin got cut and went to the Nets and whatnot, and include him. I will tell you, if some of you are wondering, well, how do the Cavs get a first-round pick tomorrow, if at all? I think the only team that offers a first-round pick in an Andre Drummond trade is the Mavericks. Send a protected later, because they've traded some first-round picks in the Porzingis trade. A later down the road protected first-round pick, but why would you take that there? Well, any first-round pick you can get and capitalize on is great. But the other thing, too, is, and I'm thinking Cavs aren't going to think this as an organization. They're going to think that every key player is important, which is how they have to.
Right.
As a fan, knowing around the corner, Chris Livingston and Bronny James are going to be in those drafts. I'm going to be like, get a piece so you can trade up and go get Chris Livingston or Bronny James, But at least get a major piece that could be traded. Like, look what they do with the Bucks, okay? Yeah. That whole situation. That originally was top 10 protected. And because of a trade they did with the Pelicans or whatnot, where they let Steven Adams went to New Orleans. The Bucks, the Bucks got Drew Holiday, okay? So there was a mix-up in the agreement, and they had to make that unprotected to make it work. The Cavaliers had to either take unprotected, or they could make them change the trade, which would have been a little dickish, but, So they said, we'll take an unprotected pick, and because Antetokounmpo, Giannis there, signed an extension, now that pick's worth went down.
Right.
You know what I mean? Had he left, that would have been a valuable pick. But, so they traded for Jared Allen, basically, is what I'm trying to say. So, it could be worthwhile there. I will tell you, we're going to talk more baseball next week, but it was announced before the show today. Indians, I guess you could say fan favorite, however you want to name him, relief pitcher Brian Shaw did make the team. He is going to be there on opening day. A lot of fans, unfortunately, remember him as the guy that pretty much blew the world. Is
he a fan favorite? I don't know.
Well,
yeah,
Frank Cohen a favorite, because he liked him a lot. But the thing, in his defense, he should not have been out there. I still say that to this day. You put Otero in, you win the World Series. That's my opinion. Okay, Otero was sharp in the situation. Now he's with the Indians front office. That did happen a couple of days ago. Dan Otero retired, and he's now a player assistant in the front office, or however, the player development assistant or whatever down there. So they're all coming back to Cleveland sometime. 62-58, Cavaliers leading. Let me see if I get you. Jarrett Allen and Darius Garland each have 10 points. Garland's got 6 assists. Garland's been hitting with the double-doubles with Allen lately. They've both been, 10 points, 10 rebounds. Garland's 10 points, 10 assists. It's been working out there. Zach LaVine with 18 points for the Bulls, and he's had a good season, too, this year.
Yeah, he's a good player. He's fun to watch.
Let me see this.
I don't think I was here, but what did you... I was
Coleman going to drafts.
So I'm kind of off the topic here. What did you think about the All-Star? Did you watch any of the All-Star?
Yeah, I watched the All-Star game. Yeah. It was all right. It wasn't bad. Again, without being all COVID and stuff, it was... Which now it's said where Cleveland's going to have the first normal All-Star game, so that's kind of nice. I didn't think it was bad. I still say to this day they should change it to home court advantage to the finals, like baseball used to, because it would be one of the best basketball games you'd see all year.
Right.
They would take it seriously, and it would be worthwhile. And
I think they play, since it's for charity, Live is our charity now. I think they play harder than what they did before.
But there's still no defense.
But
yeah.
still no defense. No, it's a dunk contest.
Right.
Yeah.
It is, yeah.
It's a dunk contest. But I think they still play a little bit harder because now for charity and all that
Right.
now than what they did before. But I like the way they kind of do it.
Right.
Like the fourth quarter is like you have to get to that certain number. So it's like kind of like the way they do it. But I thought the dunk contest was pretty decent at that. You got the young guys in there.
And again, I understand it was a one-time thing, how they handled it. I would not do the dunk contest at halftime ever again.
Yeah.
Again, one-time thing. There was no fans there. And they had to fill it all in one day. Just keep it. I like it having Saturday night being there, that one thing, and Sunday. So I'm not really criticizing it. I mean, they had to reorganize and everything with it. What I did miss was the rookie-sophomore games, What I would like to see is I don't like the USA versus International either. If there is one game in that weekend they should do the pick'ems, it's that one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I understand they didn't want to separate rookie and sophomore because the sophomores were beating up on the rookies, how that works. Except for 1 year, it was actually really good. But I think it should be a rookie captain, a sophomore captain, and they get the pick, kind of thing. I do agree with that. As far as East versus, I want to keep it East first. I don't like the Team LeBron, Team Giannis kind of thing, or Team Durant. It's Durant. It was Durant this year.
That's more of TV ratings thing. They got of course, a couple days before they do a drafting on TNT, so it's more of a TV rating thing. I don't mind it much, but I like to this year where LeBron let the guys play. He hardly even played in this past,
Right.
He let more of the younger guys play.
He wanted to avoid COVID, so it's like, you guys go play.
Yeah,
I don't want to play.
I kind of like that by him, though.
I don't want to play. I want to hide.
Yeah. But he hardly even played. He played the first quarter, of course,
Right.
and
he was like, you guys can go get hurt. I'll go win another championship.
I mean, he let all these younger guys and Chris Paul do a lot of it and all that, and that was pretty neat on his part, though. But
the thing that still trips me out is you hear who was in the dunk contest. You
had the guy from Portland.
I'm just talking about Obi. Okay,
yeah.
Toppin. Okay, and he walks up towards LeBron, and he's like thinking, it's LeBron. Yeah. And LeBron says, hey, Obi, how's it going?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I watched you growing up. And I sat there and thought, I was like, oh my gosh, LeBron's literally pretty much played since he was born. Like it hit me like I'm getting that age and LeBron's getting that age. Because I always see LeBron as this guy I remember watching when he was in high school on the papers and stuff. I didn't watch him personally. Mm-hmm. Or when he came in the league when I was like 13 years old.
Yeah.
And I have to remember that I'm 30 and LeBron's 36, 37, and some of these guys coming in, they literally watched LeBron since they were little kids. Mm-hmm. So it's a big deal to them. So that's always cool. The one that trips me out, too, okay, next Thursday, there's going to be a record broken. Is it 18 straight opening days for Yadier?
Yeah, 18.
18, okay. This guy, Yadier Molina of the Cardinals, has started opening day at catcher since I was like 13 years old.
Oh, wow.
Like about 13, 12 years old. This guy's been in the league.
It'll be his 18th year.
It'll be his 18th, and he has started every opening day. Mm-hmm. He will have the new record, and it's like that blows my mind. Like just think about like when I was a junior high. Throughout puberty, throughout high school, throughout college, Yadier Molina was always behind that plate, and I just never thought anything of it. It's like, well, there he is. So, and I don't know if he'll be back next year for a night. I mean, he's getting there. Mm-hmm. He's still great at catching defense, especially. But okay, wears on your legs and stuff. But he's not hitting what he used to. But we'll see what happens. But he'll be there next Thursday starting. They've said it. So we'll have to see there. We're almost out of time here. 66-60 Cavaliers leading. 14 points for Jared Allen. 7 rebounds. 12 points for Darius Garland. 6 assists and 3 rebounds. And for the Bulls, still just 18 points for Zach LaVine. He's got 3 rebounds now. 15 points for Lauri Markkanen. And they really cannot get much help other than that. Looking at, and you know what? Good. This game they can lose, so the Cavs can win. So there you go. Thank you guys for tuning into the show today. Wrapping up our last minute there. Next week we will talk about what happened at the NBA trade deadline. We're gonna talk about opening day and fantasy baseball with Bob back here. As finally we're having a good opening day. I mean, last year it was in July. We talked about opening day and no fans allowed. It's opening day and it just felt weird. This year, okay, maybe not a full stadium except if you're the Rangers, but fans can come in still, and that's going to be better for the teams and everything like that. And we're going to be looking out for that. Chris, thank you for filling in today. We'll see you probably around the draft time, which will be in Cleveland. So that's going to be a lot of fun talking about that and looking forward to that one. So thank you guys. Again, this is 10 Cent Beer Night on Polymer City Records every Wednesday night, 7:30 to 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. The sports show, PolymerCityRecords.com here in Akron, Ohio. I'm Seth.
I'm Chris.
Good night, everybody. Watch for March Madness. Go Cavaliers.